You clicked on this title because something in it felt personal, not general, not like a message written for a broad audience that you happened to stumble across. Personal, like someone had been watching your specific story and wrote those words directly from what they saw. And before we go any further, I want you to know that feeling was not accidental. What brought you here today is the same thing that made you a target in the first place: your potential. Stay with me until the end, because by the time this message is finished, you are going to understand something about the attacks you have survived that is going to permanently change the way you see both your past and everything that is still ahead of you. Drop an amen in the comments right now if you have been through attacks that felt too specific and too targeted to be random. Like this video, because this message needs to reach every chosen one who has been confused about why so much opposition came at them from so many directions. And subscribe to this channel, because understanding what you are about to hear is only the beginning of walking in the full authority of what you carry. Let me start with something that needs to be said clearly. What came after you was not random. There is a version of this conversation where we talk about opposition in vague, general terms, where we say life is hard and people can be cruel, and sometimes things just go wrong without any deeper meaning behind them. That version might be more comfortable, it might be easier to receive, but it would not be honest, and it would not be what you actually need to hear today. What came after you was strategic, it was aimed, it was calculated, and the reason it was calculated is the most important thing you are going to hear in this entire message. The people who came against you, the situations that were weaponized against your peace, the relationships that were used to reach the most vulnerable parts of who you are, none of it was triggered by your weakness. All of it was triggered by your potential, by what was visible to the spirit realm about where you were heading, even when you yourself could not fully see it yet. They saw it before you did. Here's how this works, and I want you to understand the mechanism clearly, because clarity about this is going to give you something that confusion never could. There is a spiritual principle that chosen ones consistently experience, but rarely have explained to them in a way that makes complete sense. The principle is this: the magnitude of the opposition against your life is always proportional to the significance of what your life was designed to produce. Small assignments do not attract significant opposition. A life that was only ever going to occupy an ordinary space, that was never going to reach beyond its immediate circle, that was never going to carry something that threatened the structures of darkness operating in this world, does not require the kind of coordinated, strategic, targeted attack that you experienced. What came after you required planning. It required resources. It required the specific kind of access to your life that only comes through people you trusted and situations you were genuinely invested in. It required a level of intentionality that goes far beyond what ordinary envy or ordinary cruelty or ordinary human dysfunction produces. What you went through was not ordinary opposition. It was a specific response to a specific threat. And the threat was you, the full realized version of you that the spirit realm could see was coming, even when the natural evidence of it had not yet fully emerged. They attacked the seed because they could not afford to let it become the tree. Now let me show you what they actually saw, because this is the part that is going to shift something in the way you see yourself. They saw an authority that was still developing. There is a version of you that exists in full expression of everything you were created to carry, a version that walks in rooms and shifts atmospheres without effort, a version that speaks and the words carry a weight that changes things, a version that moves in purpose with such clarity and such alignment that everything around it begins to reorganize itself accordingly. That version was not yet fully formed when the attacks came, but it was becoming, it was emerging, layer by layer through every experience and every trial and every season of growth. It was taking shape in a way that was becoming visible to the realm that operates beneath the surface of everything natural. And what they saw developing was dangerous enough to act against immediately. They saw a resilience that could not be broken by ordinary means. This is why the attacks were so layered, so persistent, so designed to come from multiple directions at once, because whoever or whatever was behind the opposition understood that a single line of attack was not going to be sufficient, that you were being built with the kind of internal strength that required sustained and multi-dimensional pressure to have any chance of producing the result they were after, which was your collapse, your surrender, your decision that what you were becoming was not worth the cost of continuing to become it. They underestimated you, not because you are without weakness, but because the same hand that was building what they were afraid of was also quietly fortifying what they were trying to break. Every attack that was meant to find the weakness in your foundation instead revealed that the foundation went deeper than they had calculated. Every attempt to shatter your resolve instead showed that your resolve was being reinforced from a source they had no access to and no authority over. Drop an amen in the comments right now if you survived something that was specifically designed to break you and you are still standing today. Here is what I need you to understand about where you are right now in the context of everything that came against you. You did not just survive the attacks, you were shaped by them.
There is a profound difference between someone who was never attacked and someone who was attacked at the level you were attacked and came through it. The person who was never attacked carries potential that has not yet been tested. The person who came through what you came through carries something different, something that was not just given but proven. Something that was not just promised, but demonstrated under conditions specifically designed to disprove it. What you carry now has been tested at the highest level your opposition could manage, and it held. Which means what you step into from this point forward, you step into with a track record, not just faith in what might be possible, evidence of what has already survived the worst that could be thrown at it. That is not a small thing. That is one of the most powerful positions a chosen one can stand in, and it is the position you are standing in right now, whether you have been fully aware of it or not. Here is what I need you to do with this understanding going forward. Stop being surprised by opposition. When you understand that the attacks were triggered by your potential and not by your weakness, the surprise loses its power over you. Surprise is one of the primary tools opposition uses against chosen ones, because a surprised person is a destabilized person. When you expect that significant growth will attract significant resistance, you can meet that resistance from a position of clarity rather than confusion. You can recognize it for what it is, rather than absorbing it as what it pretends to be. Stop letting the attacks define the narrative. The story of your life is not the story of what came against you, it is the story of what survived it. And those are completely different narratives with completely different implications for everything that comes next. One narrative makes the opposition the main character, the other makes your purpose the main character, and the opposition simply a confirmation of how significant that purpose actually is. Choose the second narrative because it is the true one. Start moving with the full understanding of what you carry. You were not attacked because you were ordinary. You were attacked because you were carrying something extraordinary that had not yet fully emerged. That something is still there, more refined now, more proven, more dangerous to everything that tried to stop it than it was before the attacks began. And it is time to move with the full weight of that understanding rather than the diminished self-perception that the attacks were designed to leave you with. Father, I come before you on behalf of every chosen one who went through attacks they could not fully understand at the time. Every beloved soul who was hit from multiple directions by opposition that felt too specific and too targeted to be coincidence. I thank you that what came after them was always a confirmation of what you placed inside them, that the magnitude of the attack was always a reflection of the magnitude of the assignment. I declare that every chosen one receiving this word steps into a new understanding of their own worth and their own calling today. That the confusion about why so much came against them is replaced by the clarity of knowing that what they carry was always significant enough to attract exactly the level of opposition they faced. I declare that what was being built through every attack is now being fully released, that the authority that was developing when the opposition first moved against them is now operating at full capacity, that what they survived has become the very foundation of what they are about to build. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. They came after you with everything they had, not because you were weak, not because you were an easy target, not because something about you invited destruction or made you deserving of what was aimed at you, but because they looked at the trajectory of what you were becoming and calculated that they could not afford to let you get there. They were right about what you were becoming. They were wrong about their ability to stop it. You are still here, still carrying everything they tried to take, still moving toward everything they invested so much into preventing. And what you are becoming now, on the other side of everything they threw at you, is more than what they were afraid of before the attacks began. It is sharper, it is deeper, it is proven in a way that potential alone never is, and it is just getting started. Like this video if today you finally understand why so much came against you. Share it with every chosen one who has been confused about the level of opposition in their life, and drop an amen in the comments if you are done being surprised by attacks and ready to walk in the full authority of everything you survived them to carry. They saw what you were becoming. Now it is time for the whole world to see it too.